It's time for the Dirty Laundry Podcast with your hosts, DocNoyes, Wade Hampton, and Paul Rank.
This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on! Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode 159, powered by the Hockey Podcast Network. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following anywhere you follow. Holy crap. This past week has been so much fun. Mike Commodore coming on. That was, back-to-back weeks with phenomenal shows. And again, thanks to Logan for help with that. But we had such a good time talking to Mike. I wish we had a lot more time. And if you haven't, make sure you follow us on Instagram. We've been putting clips out every week. Some good, fun discussions, everything from the bathrobe to his career and the jersey he's hunting for, all those different things. So please go check that out if you haven't. But we have more professionals in the pipeline. We actually are supposed to have one tonight. I won't tell you who it is till we get him locked back in for an official date. But we'll see where we rate. We were supposed to have him on tonight, and Logan again helped us with this one because it is somebody else from from Carolina. But he had to cancel because he's going to a Stanley Cup party. I mean, balancing us to a Stanley Cup party, come on. But we'll give him a pass. But yeah, he will be rescheduled soon, sometime in September, because we do have other guests and collectors booked in the next few weeks coming up. But we're deep into September with guests already. But if you want to come on, or you have a suggestion or contacts with a pro, things like that, feel free to reach out, because I want to just keep booking people as long as we can. Sponsors, we always have to thank those. Mitch with the Drink Your Face Off line of barware and clothing. You need to, there's no big Labor Day parties. He might be able to get you some puck openers before then. You got a week and a half. Reach out to him and get you one of those. And of course, Patrick with Public Display of Collection. He did our stuff for Vegas. He's done other plates for me, signs here, signs for Dirty Laundry, all kinds of stuff. He set up a lot of my friends with different things, even a hockey trophy for one of my friends' beer leagues. So he can help you out with any of that. The drink this evening for me is a very cheap bourbon, but excellent. It is called Very Old Barton. I think, at least around here, to get it is like $15 or $18 a bottle. But as I've told a lot of people because I've had actually listeners reach out asking about bourbons and stuff, cost does not mean it's good or bad. A lot of it is on your flavor profile, what you like, but I have tried really expensive stuff that sucked, and I've had really cheap stuff that I thought was good. So your mileage may vary, but at least check it out and don't worry about the price tag. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
I promise you we're still working on the Dr. Pepper sponsorship. We may just start having to hang logos around Wade in pictures, see if we can get their attention that way.
It's a value buy. I mean, it's one of those ones that just kind of like your bourbon. I mean, it's not the most expensive, but it's sure darn good.
Yeah, and I will say, and some people have heard me either in person talk about it, I think I mentioned a little bit on the show, is I've dropped 80 pounds in the I'll be pushing a year in November. But one of the things that I gave up just over a year ago now is I gave up soda. Dr. Pepper is one of the ones I really miss. And yes, I know there's zero sugar or diet. I can't stand the flavors in those are so different. I can't do it. So I just have to give it all up. But that Dr. Pepper is one of the ones I miss the most. And actually, and I think it's Coke owns them, brought Mr. Pibb back. And that's the other one that I really like. So it's been really, really hard because I know if I have one, then I'll have a 6-pack and go from there. But yeah, that was always, Dr. Pepper's always one of my go-tos. Auctions. We have a few good things to keep track of, one of which we have some time to watch. Classic Auctions just launched, I think just the other day, didn't they? I don't remember exactly what the start date was, but they have 19 days to go. And with the high-end stuff right now, and we got to beat baseball out. We see some of the high-end baseball cards and stuff beat hockey out. We're already at a disadvantage because the number one highest priced item is a 52 grade PSA 1 a Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle card. It is currently at $44,799 with 19 days to go.
Mantle rookies are tough, man. That's a
Yeah.
big card.
I mean, and it's a beautiful card. Second highest right now is a Gretzky 87-88 Oilers signed game worn Stanley Cup Finals helmet. That is at $19,704. Beautiful piece for our Canadian friends. A 1936 Winter Olympics wool jersey is the earliest Team Canada jersey, currently at $17,270. There's a Sid Abel 4950 Red Wings jersey, $10,982, and kind of falls from there. You got some Guy Carbonneau. You've got a Crosby 2016 World Cup jersey, a McDavid 1415 OHL Erie Otters jersey. It's only $8,000. That one, that's got to close high. I would think. I mean, especially having the OHL one. I bet that really goes up there. A lot of other different stuff. I kind of went and looked through the catalog a little bit tonight before the show, and a good mix of things in all price points and players and everything else. So we will then we'll touch on that again, just remind people of it, and then once that auction closes, we'll touch on some of what the big guns sold for. The PWHL, they had an auction, and some things you can still go do buy it nows on. This out at therealist.com. One of the highest ones out here at the moment, or that closed, is also a great price, is Marie-Philippe Poulin. Hers sold with the Montreal Victory, sold for $11,000. Sarah Filer with the Siren sold for $7,000. Sarah Nurse with the Golden Eyes sold for $6,000. Hillary Knights sold for $5,500. And you know what? And I'm really glad to see the women's jerseys up in pricing like that. And there's some other, like I said, some other buy it nows things, and you can go check that out at therealist.com. They do have, I actually even ordered kind of just trying to pick up something cool, is they had toiletry bags or tape bags from some of the teams. I was able to pick one up for like $30. So it's a nice little bag, just kind of a cool, a neat piece, and getting this to support the PWHL. We talked, yeah, because last week, had they launched it yet? The newest Celebrini, I think, had just started. The white one.
It had just started.
Like what? A few hours before the show, wasn't it?
Yep, and I think it was at 22K during the show, and later that night it went up to 25 million.
Yes, because they didn't fix their damn issue.
Yes, well, they did. Well, their solution to fix it is, we read the disclaimer last week. They removed the bid, so and they did that fairly quickly. It was removed like 9-10 a.m. in the morning, California time, probably when someone strolled into the office and noticed. But there didn't seem to be too much rodent reproduction on this one besides the $2.5 million bid. And that one went away. So what we're talking about is an away set 3 Celebrini. We don't know. It had a long date range where it was worn. It's still up on Sharks Pro Shop if you want to take a closer look at all the pictures and stuff. It ended up closing at $23,250. Which was a little bit more than the 2-game wonder Heritage jersey, which was $22,000.
Which I'm a little surprised about too, because we talked about this, because I think when we talked about it last week, the bid count was like at 10, yeah, and it was getting up there in price. The Heritage one had 23 bids and it closed at 22,000. This only had 12 bids and closed at 23,250. I thought that would go higher, and I'm surprised at such the low bid count.
Well, I think someone probably bumped it up to 20K right away. because it's what why mess around?
That seems to be the going rate for most of them, is right in
Yeah.
that ballpark.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're willing to pay it, you're not. Let's be honest, you're not going to get it at 15K. There's no
No.
point playing, the game of just incremental bids and outbidding the other person. I mean, you can do that. It's just you're not going to get a lower price that way. So someone probably thought, hey, I'm willing to pay 20K for it. I'm putting it out there, or maybe even the 22K, which was the bid was. And then I believe there are only two bids after it. Sorry, two legit bids after that. I think it went to 2,300 because I remember looking at it the morning the auction was closing. It opened on the 20th, closed on the 25th, and today's the 27th, so closed on Monday at noon. I remember looking at it, I don't know, like 10, 11 in the morning, seeing it was at 23K, and then I forgot to look at it till 2. And then there was, just a $250 increment bid on it, and that was it. You can even see there was no extended bidding on it. It closed right at noon, whereas the Heritage had extended bidding going on. It went on an extra 6 minutes.
And how does the Sharks extended bidding work compared to some of the other sites that do that?
When a bid is made in the final 2 minutes, it adds 2 minutes onto the timer.
Okay. Reasonable.
So I'm not exactly sure if it resets it to, like, if there's a minute 30 left. I'm not if it's already at like 12:01:30. I don't know if it goes to 2 minutes then remaining or 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I didn't pay close enough attention, but it is a 2-minute bump somehow. The one last week closed at 12:06:06, so 6 seconds past it. Past 6 minutes. But yeah, there was a lot of extended bidding on that because, like I said, we were looking at that one for a friend. I meant to check to see if he wanted to bid on the away one, and I forgot by noon. I was running around too much on Monday.
And the Heritage was more, and some people were posting some photo matches stuff on the Heritage, and that was more looking at like threads and stuff, wasn't it? The white one actually showed actual wear.
Yes, it was like we like to say, light but noticeable wear. There's a couple burns. I don't think there were any repairs. There's some marks. It's definitely photo matchable from the repairs. Not the repairs, sorry, the wear.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's photo matchable from the lack of repairs in a way too. But and once again, we don't know how many Celebrinis are out there. We don't know how many games it really was worn in. We just know 20 to 20, low 20 seems to be the going price right now for his jerseys. And we'll see what happens. There's talk about him getting the C for this year.
Wow.
We'll wait, we'll wait to see, in about a month, we'll probably know that. Hard to believe we have preseason games in less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Wade. It's just
wild.
It's going way too quick.
No,
so, I mean,
it's crazy. I mean, like,
yeah, we're 33 days. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah. On the main page, the countdown thing, like the other day, and I always like when people post their jerseys. It's fun to see what people have. But like today, I actually woke up and was looking at it. I looked, and I was like, and shout out to everybody who like waits till like exactly midnight on wherever they're at to like. Everybody wants to get the first one in, it seems like.
Yeah, and and I'm glad you mentioned that, Wade, because that is so much fun. I need to contribute. I need to start hunting through my jerseys, see what numbers I have that match that. But I love seeing the people that post and what jerseys show up in there and some of the cool different ones. But I'm glad people get excited to do that every day and get into that countdown.
It's just crazy that we're that like I can't believe hockey's already back. I actually talked to a friend today who does autographs, and some of the Blues players are, but like ending up back in town, and they're all starting to skate out at the practice facility. And he was out there today and was talking about some of the guys in town and what have you. And it's just like, I had to, like, we were talking, I was just like, dude, it's like crazy that it's going to be here before, so quick.
Yeah. Tuesday, September 29th, opening matchup that night. We ought to be a fairly good one, as the Panthers versus the Hurricanes.
Wow. And that's regular season. First regular season.
Yes. 84 game season this year. Don't forget.
Nice. That's so nice they're doing that. I know you mentioned the countdown, but we have that countdown going on in the main Facebook group. They also do it every year in the Discord, the hockey jersey Discord.
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
And they do a great job with that too. I've been way too busy with other stuff to contribute to either, but I like looking at it. It's cool.
It's
Some
neat.
of the jerseys that show up. It's a fun thing. But I want to make sure that if you enjoy looking through the jerseys and that, check out the hockey jersey Discord too. They do a great job with it. In addition to the Facebook group. But
Yes. It's just fun to see that kind of interaction and see what players show up under some of those numbers and guys you may forget about or guys that even if the guy played one game for your team and he was wearing that number, awesome. Throw it out there. It doesn't have to be big name guys. It's okay. That's the number of the day. Who gives a damn who it is?
Yeah, it's fun.
we know Wade's the number guru here, so it's
Yes.
I love it. I love it. It's fun. It's my favorite thing.
Seems to like 27 today. So
yeah, excited to do something fun.
Maybe next week we can do the countdown to the first game. I don't know what number that.
You know what? But yeah, let's figure out what it is. I guess next week it would be 26. I guess would be when we tape, right? So
yeah, should be
26. It is next week. It's 27 this week. I'll put up 4 26s next week. Hopefully, I have 4 26s. I have a feeling I can pull it off.
You have a week to obtain them.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
Right.
I think I'm going to guess I'm hopeful I'm there. So
if
we'll see. If
anyone has a 26 for sale or trade, contact Wade.
Yeah.
It's one of them would be Stasny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll use him. I'm actually in my brain like working through who I'm going to be putting up next week. So I think I got it covered. We'll leave it a mystery. Like tune in next week to see my.
We're giving Wade a challenge now for the rest of the countdown of the season. And every week we record, can he put 4 jerseys of that number on the wall behind him?
So and watch in 2 weeks I got 19. Wrong. What's that?
Watch our math be wrong and put you off by 1 each.
Well, but I guess technically go either way because we record on Thursday. A lot of people don't watch it till Friday, so you could fudge it a little bit if you needed.
I could go to 25, I guess, too. Then, right?
Yeah.
Well, whatever works.
Right.
We'll see what I decide. Right.
That'll be yes.
Tune in to see.
We got some expo updates.
Well, yes, we do. So surprisingly, there's a brand new expo coming up this year, which I just heard about this week for the first time. Columbus, Ohio is hosting one on March 27th. Alan's putting this one on. Alan Estornia. We've added the information to the expo tracking on Opert, and it's been posted in the groups and stuff. Tables are $100. It's Saturday, March 27th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is kind of big because there's free shuttle service to and from the airport to the hotel. Because, it's actually in Westerville, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, but that's on the northeast side of Columbus, right outside the 270 outer belt. So it's a decent drive from the airport. So the free shuttle definitely helps out, compared to an Uber or, renting a car. There is a Blue Jackets and Blues game that night. Yep. So, for you St. Louis folks who want to make it out there. So first off, I was surprised about this. My friends, know this. I actually went to Westerville North High School. I lived, outside of Columbus for a while. And, of course, Cincinnati for undergrad, Michigan for grad school. There was probably factored into part of me choosing Michigan for grad school, having lived in Columbus for too long. But Westerville, when I was there in the 70s and very early 80s, was a dry town. Yeah. So it was home of the temperance movement. They actually have a monument, or a plaque, I should say, in front of the library there. And you could not buy alcohol anywhere in Westerville. So this was, back in the 80s, this part of Columbus wasn't overgrown yet. And now it's total suburbia, and even you went north of Westerville in the old days, you had nothing but cornfields and trees until you hit Delaware, Ohio. But every way you could go back in those days, when you exited Westerville, there was a carry out or some sort of store that sold alcohol right within 100 yards of the border ending. So, but they it made it kind of interesting. They have since rescinded those laws. I don't know what year that happened. So there are plenty of bars and stuff now inside Westerville. Strange little town, suburb. Uh, I, I'm really happy Alan's doing the show there. It just surprised me. Wait, the address is in Westerville? I had no idea there was an Embassy Suites in Westerville. I have not been back there in decades. So
I got snowed into Columbus years and years and years ago. Um, it was an awful experience. It really was. I I was traveling for work, had a show we did, and all the flights got canceled. And we ended up sitting in a hotel till like Tuesday, and I finally like couldn't get a flight. So I took my rental car that was supposed to go back to the airport at Columbus, and I drove it to New Jersey and just took the penalty. But I realized the roads were clear enough for me to get back to New Jersey, but I couldn't catch a flight, so I did what I did.
Not a terrible, terrible drive from there. But...
It was long enough for it to be terrible, but not completely terrible.
yeah, and they do it well. Anyone coming in for the expo in Ohio, and if you're renting a car and stuff, they do enforce the speed limit laws pretty heavily in Ohio.
Yeah, they do.
But
go ahead.
I think that's one line from Cannonball Run when they're starting the race. And just remember, no state has a death penalty for speeding, although we're not sure about Ohio.
I forgot about that line.
Yes. Columbus is a great city, though, and it's the stadium and the games are great. I've been there for a number of games, so congrats to Alan for putting on the show. I'm sure it'll be a really good one and a great city too. So
yeah, really happy he's doing one down there.
Absolutely, good job, Alan.
I wish I could make it, but I've pretty much already committed to the one that'll be 2 weeks later.
Oh yes, so you're jumping ahead, and this is not confirmed yet, but there's been a tentative date published for Vegas. It's the current plan, and all this is subject to change, and none of this is confirmed. But there's a contract in place. I'm not the one driving this year. Bill Gabor gets the
AKA
honor.
Bill Gaber.
Yeah, thank you. I was waiting on you. Gets the honor of running this thing this year, and he's really taken the bull by the horns, and it's going to be. He has a lot of stuff planned. If half of it works out, it's going to be an incredible weekend. We're looking at a 2-day expo, Saturday, Sunday. The room, which is currently on hold, is the same square footage as the 2 rooms we used last time. And so it'd be nice having everyone in the same room. And, we've talked about it on the show before, we ended up getting the second room in Vegas just because we couldn't fit everyone in the one, even though in theory it should have worked. It would have been crowded, and it worked out so much better with 2. My hope is that it gets crowded in the larger room.
Yeah.
There's
New York took excellent care of us through all of it.
Oh, yeah. New York was great. It will be in New York again. That's the plan. Saturday night is fan appreciation night for the Knights. So the plan is to get some sort of group seating there. Unlike this past year, first year you put on an expo in a city, it's really tough, and we're trying to figure everything out. And for the Frozen Four and for the Knights, Vegas Golden Knights games, we couldn't get seats together, but we still made it work. We had a great time. Silver Knights, while we didn't have seats together, we all sat together because, well, it's
easy to do there.
Yes. And but this year we're trying to tackle it earlier and figure out seating together, and how we can make that work. There's also a Silver Knights game on Friday. I'm jumping the gun here. Monica and I are thinking of watching the Frozen Four semifinals at home on Thursday, fly out to Vegas Friday afternoon. Part of it is because her spring break's the following week.
Oh, nice.
And then staying in Vegas till like Tuesday or Wednesday. Do the Friday night events, Saturday expo, Sunday expo, Saturday night game, and then some stuff beginning of next week in Vegas. So hopefully we get a great turnout again. We'll schedule some group events. Bill has some ideas. I keep bugging him with other ideas, and he probably just keeps ignoring him and ignoring me, and I don't blame him. But we will see what we can do.
Yeah, I at least wanted to mention it because the date was out there publicly in the Vegas group and that, so I figured at least give people some warning to look at that. I was since I was out there last April, my mother likes to gamble, so she's like, I'd love to go back to visit Vegas. I'm like, well, conveniently we have these dates. We could make it kind of a family trip too. You and my wife can go gamble, and I'll go do my hockey stuff. We'll all go together.
That'd be great. And we're looking at really good rates for the hotel at New York again. The Friday, Saturday night will be, comparable to what it was last time, but the other dates will be really, really cheap. It's, Friday, Saturday in Vegas, it's always more expensive.
It may not be as high this time though, just because the Frozen Four is not there.
Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper, I think, but it's still a premium compared to the other dates. I will want to, and I'll mention this as we get things confirmed, encourage people to book through the discounted links we get. You can sometimes find better rates on some of the third-party sites. Usually, maybe $20 or not, $20 saving, for the 2 expensive nights at most, or about the same. The reason why I'm encouraging people to book through our reservation system is to get a decent rate, a Vegas decent rate on the expo room. We have to guarantee so many rooms. And, I'll be honest, I was sweating that out last expo. Just figure, okay, how much do I have to budget to pay for the shortfall? And somehow we hit our quota. It's both a combination of number of rooms and dollar amount. But
and I will say too, they offered us with going through that booking thing, they offered us some nice room upgrades that I took advantage of, and you did as well. Yes. From that at a much cheaper deal. Because made the joke of it. I got a hot tub room, and I think it was $30 extra a day. They sent me an email outside of that booking to upgrade, and it was $90 a day for the same thing.
Oh wow! For the spa suite.
Yes.
Hot tub suite. Yes. Yeah. Those were nice. That's what Monica and I booked. And
are we gonna see a Doc tape a podcast episode, or at least a spot from the hot tub this year?
We can sure try it. I mean, between that and you and the robe, we can do some really, really fun stuff.
I mean, with the weight loss and everything, I'm just saying, you talk about getting some views.
Yeah.
Or we'll lose a lot of views, one of the two.
that will definitely be a podcast for radio, just the audio.
Right,
version.
yeah. There'll be no video for that one.
You got some fans, Doc. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not only fans.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, no. So Vegas. I'll just nip this in the bud right now. Vegas is looking up. Like this. Don't book your flights yet until it's confirmed and the contract signed. But it's going to be Bill's goal is to outdo last year.
Yeah.
So I'm challenging him on that. Hopefully, Wade, you can make it this time. It's.
I'm going to certainly try.
I
was actually already just starting to look a little bit at it.
And the Golden Knights are after last year, the Golden Knights are super behind this, and say Bill and I talked about it shortly after, and how excited they were and how much they loved it went. And Paul, I know you and Bill talked about it heavy too. And that's awesome. I mean, we continue to touch on that, and we've got in October Wade's Expo, and the Blues are there, the Kings, the Sharks, the Knights, the Flyers. I mean, all the different teams, and hopefully with the Columbus show, they can get the Blue Jackets involved. Hopefully there. I know My Gray does that, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, maybe, but team up with them or something. But seeing these expos and seeing the teams get involved really is cool. It shows. Not that I'm saying they weren't legitimate before, but it proves to the NHL teams how legitimate we are.
That's real fun.
Also to mention for Columbus, Ohio State is there. So assuming, yeah, exactly. Who knows if they can get a representative from there out at the Columbus show. It's, I'm assuming their season's going to be over by then. And yes, all you people in Columbus can hate me, but go Blue. Because it's the Vegas Expo does coincide with the Frozen Four again. I think I mentioned that earlier, but
Yeah, and I know it was kind of talked about doing one, but because the Frozen Four is going to be in DC and it's so close to Nova, it didn't make a lot of sense to do it. But then 2028 will be back in Chicago.
yes, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, it's Francis's show is just way too close to when the Frozen Four is. Um, I personally don't think a second show in DC would work that close to
No, not at all.
Nova. And I'd rather go to Vegas that weekend anyhow.
Yep, I like it.
And who knows? Bill might be taking a Frozen Four weekend every year in Vegas, but I don't think that will happen. But we shall see. Especially when a place like Chicago is much easier to get to.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, they have not announced the Frozen Fours after Chicago. That should be coming up soon, where we get the
like an announcement for the next couple.
yes, for the next couple, and the next couple of regionals and stuff. So that by the way, that was great talking to Mike about the Frozen Four, not the regionals and stuff, and Frozen Gophers last week. So,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the, if you hadn't seen it, that's one of the reels we clipped for Instagram. So if you want to hear it again or that or share it around, please go check that out.
So as he's telling the Frozen Gopher story, what's going through my mind is like, oh my God, the Gopher was still alive, or something like that. The one that he slap-shotted over the boards. But thank God it only hit probably one or two people, and it was totally frozen and totally dead. So it's just like that. So other Expo news. Well, I was going to mention Wade's, but Wade just disappeared. Dog time. For Minnesota, December 9th, is it? I can't remember the exact date.
December the 9th or December the 5th?
December 5th. I know, Doc, you're going to try to attend there.
Yes, I am working out my schedule with that. I'll be going to Chicago. Wade and I will both be in Chicago for that expo, and then a couple weeks later, I'm going to head up to Minnesota. I know you were talking about it possibly as well, Paul. If you could swing it.
I just booked a couple other flights, so I got to book something to Minnesota, just some other personal travel. But if I can get a decent flight up there, I'm planning on trying to hit the Minnesota show. They have added a game that night for the Wild. They have lower bowl seats. I forget what section they said, but there is a home Wild game, and they've got a block of tickets reserved for that. I think they need to know pretty soon so they can get the number down and work with the Wild on it. So if you're interested in those, please. It's trying to think. Yeah, contact them, John, on that. So I don't have his contact information here.
And Migrate will be there with them for that show, and they take care of the Minnesota Wild team. They took that on last year?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah. They actually the Hobie Baker Foundation's going to be there. It's 12-5 Wild versus Flyers, Club Section 5. And then there's a couple other groups. Okay, Classic's going to be there. The Hobie Baker Foundation. I thought the Minnesota Hall of Fame's going to be there too.
Wow.
And I could try and do what I screwed up trying to do in Vegas when we tried to get as many Hobie Baker winners jerseys of some type there, and we got so busy we never got the pictures together. So I'll have to talk to John about doing that up there.
Yeah, so it's no, that would be great. Yeah, Hobie Baker Committee is going to be there. I did not see the Minnesota Hockey Hall of Fame on here. I thought they were committed earlier, maybe not. Double D Hockey will be there, which would be great to see John. Looks like a really good group. Oh, Matt Carlson from Vegas is going to be there.
Nice. Yeah. Yep, it was fun hanging out with Matt and meet him in person in Vegas this past year.
Yeah, and then Hunter Lane from the Southeast will be there. And then Ryan Moan from, I believe he's in North Dakota, will be there. We'll see how many other of our North Dakota buddies can make it.
Yeah.
So that will be a lot of fun. let's see. We have Wade's coming up, and I'm not going over all expos, but that's October 17th and 18th. Anything you wanted to add about your show,
Coming
Wade?
around quick. It's we're doing good, pretty filled up. I have some autograph guest announcements pending. St. Louis Warrior Hockey Foundation is going to be there. We're going to be doing a raffle situation with some giveaways for them. The Blues will be there, working with the Blues alumni as well. So have some fun postings that are going to come. I'll probably try to do some more announcements next week once I finalize some details. But overall, we have some really nice collectors and some vendors and some people coming in. I'm going to probably do some sort of announcement of a list of people. I normally don't do that, but it seems like that's a popular thing these days. So,
And at least now you're getting them locked in and secured pretty well, so you should be in good shape.
yeah, it's going to be a full room and a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about the charity aspect of working with the Blues Warriors and doing some stuff. Like I said, there's going to be a raffle with at least one game used jersey, some other signed stuff, some other memorabilia. I've had some nice people already offered to donate items. I'm going to have some signed stuff in there as well, some nice framed photos, and that should be a highlight because those proceeds will go directly to helping a great cause. So that's neat. And then just a show for collectors, buy a lot of collectors, and we're gonna have some great vendors and dealers as well that will have you covered. So looking forward to doing another one this year. So
Unfortunately, Blues are on the road, so no game, but we'll find a way. I'll either bring a projector and we can wire up sound in that room because I'll have all my equipment, or get dinner somewhere like we always do on that Saturday night. And that way.
That's always fun. Friday night setup is always fun because we kind of do that in the room where everybody can come in and the people coming in town, and then Saturday's a full day, and then Saturday night doing something. The hotel's got a nice restaurant, and then there's a lot of restaurants around that area. So one of my favorite parts of it, beyond obviously trying to acquire jerseys and watch people acquire jerseys, is the hosting and the hospitality aspect of just having a good time and getting with people that share our passion.
Exactly. And Paul, you had done some updating to your Opert page as well.
Well, I still want to finish Expos.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I told you last week we're supposed to have the date for San Jose the beginning of this week, and it would probably be midweek. They're still working on it, trying to get final confirmation. So we're waiting on the dates for San Jose and LA. But hopefully very soon we'll be able to make the official announcement on it. I think we have dates where it's supposed to work, but we will find out shortly, and we'll discuss it. So what you're alluding to is we used to, in the main Facebook group, we used to maintain a list of other Facebook groups, like individual teams, localized groups. There's a ton of Facebook groups, and we had it there. Whatever Facebook has screwed up the notes format. I think we did it as I can't remember if it was a document or a notes. It was actually under /notes. And a lot of the notes underneath there are all gone now. I don't know what Facebook has done. They're saying this cannot be displayed, for whatever reason. So what I did is I took an older copy of it and I actually stuck it up on Opert. There's a link on Opert for it, and there's a link in the Facebook groups for it. It's opert.com/game-warn/game-warn-facebook-groups. And that's the list we have. I've been adding to it every day when people send in updates. We have, the general groups on top. We also have gone ahead and added some non-Facebook stuff in there, including like Jersey Page, the Dirty Laundry forums, a link. I guess it is a Facebook page, but for Dirty Laundry, our Facebook group there. We'll add more Dirty Laundry links in there. We've added our Flickr group, which has been a lot of fun, where people actually, when you put your photos up on Flickr, they've actually put them into this group, and it's really cool just browsing all the jerseys there. Then a whole bunch of different categories for groups, and then down and then other sports. And at the end, we've added a collector's page section. So if you have a website for your collection, or for your you know a reference page, I probably should add the Chicago Blackhawks one on here.
Yes, that's a great page.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I've added a couple Instagram pages. I've added stuff like Mitch's hockey jersey page, George's jersey page. Today I just got something for once a Blue Gallery, so that was added. If you have something you want it listed there, please shoot me a message, either email or Facebook, and I will get it added, or Discord, and I will add it quickly. It's I'm starting to change all the links in the main Facebook group to this page because it's still referencing the notes and then not found. So it's I'm glad it's somewhere now, and we'll have it keep growing and keep it up to date.
Very cool.
And again, references like that are always so good because there's so many. I mean, even if you Google stuff or certain Facebook search half the time is so garbage. I never trust anything out there, but having more of a centralized place to be able to disseminate this information is so helpful.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's I've been meaning to do this for a while, and I think this is what I was doing Monday when I was not watching the Celebrini auction.
I mean, hey, you're good at to just juggling multiple things like that.
Yeah, but not always good at multitasking and timing. So
hey, it happens. I mean, when you're retired, the days and the hours don't float the same way as they do for Wade and myself.
It happens. Hey,
yeah,
speaking of juggling,
there's just not enough of them. It's just like.
Speaking of juggling things, Doc, isn't it time for our sponsor?
Yes, before we get into our random topics of this evening, because I will say tonight's show is more of a kind of just a round robin of things because we've had so many guests. It was more of tonight to just touch on things that we have either glossed over, barely talked about, things like that. But we will get to those here in just a minute. Our sponsor is DraftKings. The sports app is now available in all 50 states, all markets. Like we said just a little bit ago, 33 days to go to the regular season. You can download the app with the code THPN, and some of the cool bets you can do, the future stuff out there we've touched on with, of course, Patrick Kane, Brady Tkachuk to 25 or more regular season goals at minus 400. I wish they would do some of the penalty stuff. Players to record 50 or more regular season goals. Nathan McKinnon's at a plus 250. 55 plus regular season goals. Cole Caulfield is a plus 1,200. Some of the other different things, even you can already get into the PWHL too. We don't want to forget them, but we did talk about the very first game of the regular season is the Panthers versus the Hurricanes. The puck line on that is a minus 230 for the Florida Panthers and a plus 190 for the Hurricanes. But make sure you go out to DraftKings. Customers sign up with the code THPN. You can spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. Code THPN. Partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Bet with DK Sportsbook.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Bet text pass through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
Speaking of books, what one are you reading, Paul?
Oops, wait, don't want to lose my place. I'm just at the beginning anyhow. Catching up on some, it's one of the few Terry Pratchett books, or Sir Terry Pratchett books I have not read. So Going Postal, which I thought was an appropriate one. He's actually one of my favorite authors, Terry Pratchett. The whole Discworld series is just fascinating and a lot of fun. Great sense of humor. It's he's passed away over a decade ago now. A lot more. Well, actually, I'll mention it. He had some issues with Alzheimer's and dementia near the end of his life, and they've done analysis of the words and stuff, and they could actually find out how bad it was at certain points in his life, near the end, and they can see like how his language changed and his vocabulary changed. It's fascinating stuff. But highly recommend anything from Terry Pratchett. Great Discworld fantasy with very great sense of humor. So it's highly recommended. I also feel like, since I've been so off topic on this part, have to do a Big Sur update. The fire is now at 20,000 acres, which is huge. They are closing. Route 1 was mostly opened, except for like a 5-mile stretch south of the Henry Miller Library for a while. Now they're closing up a lot more of it as they're reinforcing the lines there with the whatever you call that, the firewall, or where they clear out everything.
That fire line.
Fire line. Thank you. That's it. So even like Fernwood up there north of Henry Miller, that's closed for a while, at least a week, as they get that in there. The fire is spreading north and east, so away from the coast, away from Highway 1. There's not too. It's mostly all wilderness up there, mostly, but it's still about 20% contained. I'm hoping I don't have to do too many of these updates.
Right.
Interesting thing is, I've gotten a few messages from friends in Europe, and they had no idea there was a fire in Big Sur. So we'll bring you irrelevant news, which is important.
You know what?
At least the three of us. So
it mattered. One of my coworkers actually just talked about this the other day. They stopped in my office, and their family lives in Washington State, and they've got fires up that far as well. And it's crazy to hear their stuff, and we were comparing it to Big Sur and that. But yeah, it's messy through all of that area.
Oh yeah, it's just terrible, and it's. Who knows how bad, every year we keep having more and more fires out here in California, and, it's, they do a great job of maintaining, what they can, but, it's California, well, the whole Pacific Coast, I should say, it's just huge. And we have a lot, of natural woodlands out here, and it's tragic what's happening, all throughout the coast. And in Canada too, I guess.
Yeah, and you heard me talk about earlier this year, we're mostly out of it, but we still have time, as Illinois is blowing away every other state in the number of tornadoes. So we've all been different weather or disaster discussions on our show, just because we've kind of been in the middle of them.
Yeah.
So
speaking of going coastal, what a time for me to segment into the fact of tariffs between the U.S. and Canada.
Well done.
Yes.
Yeah,
look at you just sliding right in there with that. Nice work.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's almost like we've done this for 156 episodes.
Hey, no, get that right. It's 159.
Oh, shit. There we go.
Wade missed 3.
I missed 3. So.
Yes.
Or I was sleeping, according to some people.
Right.
Real quick, I did want to give an update, and it's such a evolving thing, but obviously everybody, and we've discussed it many times about the tariffs going on between the U.S. and Canada. And yesterday and into today, there was a breakdown in that negotiation, and according to a lot of sources and what we're seeing right now, it's going to become pretty treacherous to try to import something from Canada with the way the fees are set up. And it looks like some of the go-betweens that were being used to avoid those tariffs and taxes have broken down with this new situation happening. So I think it's important that we mention that on the show, that as it's always changing, and I don't want to get too deep into it, I do think it's important that we mention it so that our fellow collectors and people in the hobby are sensible about when they're making purchases or doing exchanges between the US and Canada, because I think right now it's up for grabs and could get pretty challenging.
Yeah, and if the things hold, I mean, and again, just rough math, some of the stuff may cost you damn near double what you pay.
Yeah.
Let's just use, say, Montreal Canadiens. You buy a jersey from them, and it's $1,000. You may end up paying another 800 to 1,000, depending on stuff. We really hope all this stuff gets fixed, but if not, it's going to put a massive dent once you get into the season, and the teams, the Canadian teams, or even other way around, selling jerseys and stuff, and people buying it in Canada or buying the U.S. coming from Canada. That may put just a freeze on all of that.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty crazy. So, but doing a favor to everybody in the hobby by mentioning it, just so that you don't hop on eBay tonight and try to make a purchase or whatever, and then get shocked by it. I think you definitely need to pay attention to it and see what it's going to be. Because God knows, I've mentioned it before to you guys. I think last month I bought something from Canada, and I got a FedEx bill about 3 weeks later for like $350.
Ouch.
For that was unexpected on the purchase. So, and you got to pay it. So, unexpected $350 going to FedEx, but could be now worse with what just happened between the two countries. So,
and I believe again, you have to Google them, because I didn't think to look them up before. Just hit my head right now, as I believe there may be some online calculators that at least give you kind of a rough idea.
Sure.
And they're trying to keep them up with all the stuff going on right now. So that at least may be a starting point for you. If you're looking at buying stuff from Canada, or you're Canadian coming the other way, buying stuff from here. So keep an eye on that and research that. Like Wade said, don't be surprised when you get if you buy something forgetting about this, if it wasn't disclosed either direction for that matter, and you get a huge ass bill from UPS, FedEx, whoever.
So I do think we should reach out to Mark in the upcoming week, discuss this next week, because Classic Auction / Mark Ojoto, they have a court ruling where they'll include in high value shipments to the U.S., which basically states that the hockey jersey is a historical artifact, and there's not supposed to be any tariffs or duties on that. That I don't know if that's gone out the window with the current climate and what's happening. But I also want to make sure we get clarification on that from Mark, since he is in the middle of an auction. And
yes,
we discuss his auction. We discuss he's in Canada. We're not. And I want to make sure that if that still works for him and he's confident, that we can reiterate that next week. So
and if we can make it work, we may try and get him on the show to have a direct discussion. And if we can't make it work or whatever, at least, gets one of us talk to him and get some information so we can at least attempt to pass that along. And it's a good thing, but it sounds like, again, things are so fluid and everything seems to change every 5 minutes, but it sounds like most of that could be out the window.
Yeah, it could be out the window by the time we release the show tomorrow.
Right. Good point.
But I'm probably not, but just it's very fluid right now. So, but it is an important discussion, especially, with collectors going between both countries.
And that's why we're being very vague on it, because we don't know what the state is today, and we sure don't know what to expect tomorrow. We'll hold on it.
Yeah. And some of what I talked about during this past year's equipment sales and stuff, where we had teams saying the volume we have is less, and I've been trying to get confirmation. And it seems like it's kind of fitting into that mold a little bit more now, especially with this, is teams holding back so much more. Again, when I asked the Blues about it at their sale, that was one of the things they told me, and getting that from a few other teams as well. That seems pretty solid, and it makes more sense, because things change by the minute, and budgets get tight, or you want to make sure you have the things you need. Better to get it locked up now or early, or have it sitting around, because it's not like hockey pants or gloves or tape or whatever that comes out of Canada or the other direction expires.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, if there are other people out there that have an understanding or do stuff in business where they're having to deal with these tariffs and stuff and want to reach out, even if you don't want us to use your name or what say where that information came from, your name and all that is secret, is safe with us. We will not share that on the air, but we will definitely share the information if you give that to us to put out there. But we will, as somebody that had done interviews in regular radio and protecting names and that, I am well versed in that. So we do appreciate when that stuff gets passed along, even with, hey, it didn't come from me kind of stuff, but we will protect your identity, as it were. But no, that is and as things change next week or all of that, we will stay on top of it the best we can.
Absolutely.
Paul had to go also do dog duty really quick. Do you have some of the Fanatics, and Paul's back too, talk about some of the Fanatics drops if you want to really quick before we get some of the other stuff?
Yeah,
they keep dropping a whole lot of things all at once, it seems, anymore.
Yeah, it's been kind of sporadic. They stopped for a while, now they're back. I think today was the 2014 Olympic jerseys. They were all one period jerseys. Prices on the high end were $29.95 for a Ryan Miller worn during warmups. Jimmy Howard first period jersey for $2,000. And then everybody else was $12.95 for a first period jersey. So that was the drop today. Yesterday was all-star jerseys from 2016 and 17, was it? Or 16 and 18? I'd have to double check to make sure I get my 16 and 18. The highlight on that was Connor McDavid, game used jersey, a white jersey for $19.95, $10,000 for the Ovi, and then regular ones were down to $9.95. Some pretty good names in there. Some of the pricing was a little interested, and I guess John Scott obviously was the MVP in 16, so his was $34.95. But that's a piece of because we were talking about that in our chats that we have. That I consider kind of an interesting piece of NHL history because remember absolutely.
He was voted on to that by the fans, and then the NHL had to go change the rules after the fact because and everybody loved it, and it pissed a lot of people off that the NHL came back and said, "Well, we can't have this happen again. Why can't you, jackasses?"
It's fun.
The fans got behind this and loved it.
Absolutely. So but it's kind of funny though that one was that, and you could get Brett Burns or Corey Perry, who are both probable Hall of Famers for $9.99. So some cool drops there. One of the ones that I actually enjoyed was they did the NHLPA 4-on-4 from the lockout year. Those are some of my.
And those jerseys are both ugly and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. So they had some cool ones there. I really enjoyed that. That was a fun drop for me because going back to that, that was an event that kind of ties into whenever I was, really getting into the hockey, and that was the lockout was fun. And I remember those 4-on-4 games and, the trading cards that they did. So that was neat. That was a neat one, but they're dropping such a spattering of random things, but, and I know Paul is, everybody knows Paul stands on Fanatics, but at the end of the day, their pricing sometimes doesn't make sense, but they're not being, they're clearly very proud of Olympic jerseys, but I think that's just because they are seeing what happened with the last bit of Olympic jerseys, but those typically fall off secondarily down the road. But at the end of the day, I think it's great that this stuff's getting out to collectors, and there's some stuff that's showing up that people probably thought that they were never going to see or never knew where it was. So to me, that is a positive effect of this stuff being released by Fanatics. Is a lot of people are getting a chance at stuff that maybe they wouldn't have ever thought they would see again or didn't know where it was. So,
well, even like some of the names, like the 4-on-4 challenge. I mean, yeah, they're not worn heavy.
No.
It's such, I mean, what, 32 years old or 42 years
Yeah.
old?
Yeah, I mean that's those are 32 years old. So
Yeah. A Brennan Shanahan one for $4,000, Scott Stevens, 75, Pat Verbeek. If you're a Red Wings fan, $1,000 for that.
yeah.
Or Benoit Hogue for 750.
Yeah,
Um,
those are jerseys that are like collection fillers probably for some people. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
And if you can't necessarily afford their player's regular jersey, you might be able to get into that. But I mean, like a 2003 NHL Young Stars game, there's a bunch of those jerseys out there
yeah,
too.
yeah. It's neat stuff, and again, the fun part for me right now is just not knowing what they're going to drop next.
Yeah.
But then they got it seems like 30 years worth of stuff they've somehow acquired. So from the NHLPA,
Right.
so
The
I
one
guess we'll
thing
see what's next.
one thing I will give them credit for, and this is as far as I know, everyone who's getting the lists gets the same list.
They are doing
Unlike,
that,
yeah,
unlike previous years.
Right.
So
And
yes,
maybe it's been that outcry. Maybe it's been this show. I mean, we don't really know, but so many of us have talked. And then of course, over the years when these lists came out, and then all their reps would get calls going, hey, my friend got the price at this. You're
yeah,
telling this other guy this, and you're telling me this price. And they know all of us talk. So it's
it's
really,
getting dropped.
you
Yeah,
can't hand everybody a different price list anymore.
and I think the list is getting dropped to all the reps at the same time, from what I'm gathering, and then they're just sending it out fresh. What I think was happening before, and I like to call it was the in the Steiner days, and they obviously took their game plan from Steiner and then used that into sportsmem.com and then into Fanatics. In the Steiner days, I think it was Wild Wild West. I think all of those, and I knew a bunch of those guys and know a bunch of those guys. I think back then, I think it was I think those guys were working probably so heavily on a commission based thing, and I think they had the ability to get the list, and I think they were padding the list to make more money when they were making calls. It seems like like Paul said, good for Fanatics for seeming to take that out of play. But I do remember back in the day with like Yankees and Rangers stuff, comparing what somebody else's price list looked like compared to the one you got, and a lot of times it had to do with either how close you were to your rep or how much you purchased.
yeah. The classic example was the World Cup of Hockey way back when.
Oh God.
Right, yeah, that was just like when they would not send out the printed list, but you could get the prices from your rep. And
Yeah.
if you talk to a different rep, you were guaranteed to get a different price on
Oh,
everything.
absolutely. Yeah, it's
It
pretty
was,
wild.
yeah, and that was the final straw for me.
Even when the Blues, even though the Blues were with them for a short period of time, it was kind of crazy to hear what you'd kind of get one off, hear one number from one person and another from another. Was always chippy,
Yes.
So
So lots of, I mean, the drops seem to have stopped for a while. Then the past week or two, it seems
yeah,
like a whole bunch of stuff's coming out
I
again.
think they took a break. I think that's what they're going to do. From what I'm gathering, it seems like they're getting stuff together. And my guess is if they have as much as you would imagine they have based upon what they're dropping, there's probably got to be a little bit of work put into sorting the stuff, figuring out what you have, and then getting it all prepped to sell, because they're bagging each one of them, they're having to sort each one of them, and then make sure that that it makes sense. So it's probably a pretty big undertaking to get through all that stuff.
At least they don't have to photograph them.
Yeah, I mean, not at first, at least.
Yes.
I guess they're photographing them once they end up on Fanatics page, and I don't think they have. I haven't seen them on eBay yet. I know with the Ranger stuff a couple years ago that like they would sell it off their list. It would populate onto their website and then would end up on eBay on the Sportsmem or Sportsmem eBay page. So
Speaking of eBay,
Oh, that's right. So eBay, I think it's eBay Australia. They've been experimenting with extended bidding
oh,
for,
gross.
I believe, for trading cards and a few other categories. And it's they had it. I think it's expanded now, and it's only eBay Australia, as far as I understand. They're, as you would expect, they're going to see how this goes, and then consider expanding it to other items and other regions. So, I guess my question for the two of you is, do you like the current eBay model with sniping, or would you prefer to see extended bidding on eBay? We don't have to talk about other models, but those are our two options on eBay, what we might see.
I personally hate extended bidding. Um, I personally hate extended bidding. I guess I could put a period behind that. But the sniping thing is just something you have to be aware of at this point, right? I mean, like, if you're getting sniped, then be smart enough to use a sniping tool, right? Um, or be, Johnny on the spot right at the close of an auction. In the same sense, extended bidding and auctions just drives me nuts because a lot of times I think it gives people an opportunity to come back to things. So, like, let's say you're like on one item, right? And there's somebody who's prospecting on 4 or 5 items, and then they might prioritize the first one. They don't get that, so then they go to the second one. If they don't get that, the next thing you know, something that you really wanted becomes their 5th choice, and just something they throw something at, right? Um, it kind of is what it is, but I'm also one of those people, like, I like the firm close so that I can put my number in there. It's closing at this time. I throw my bid at it. I'm either going to win or I'm not going to win. Like, the idea of the extended bidding, I think, is the auction house or eBay or whoever's goal of getting people to do excitement bidding or get that competitive juices flowing and maybe go higher than you wanted to go because, gosh darn it, you're not losing.
And eBay's rules with that is as if their current testing. They haven't locked into these rules, but the current rules are if someone places a bid in the final 60 seconds, the remaining time resets back to another 60 seconds.
Yeah.
The auction only ends when the 60-second clock runs out completely with no new bids placed. eBay launched the extended bidding for all auctions in Australia starting August 17th, following prior tests in selected categories like trading cards. They have had mixed reactions in the eBay community forum. Some favor that because they could have potential higher final prices. Others like the lost predictability and those longer closing times. Because in theory, I mean, you could go, if you have a lot of interest, you could go a long time. But if I'm as the seller, okay, that's good for me because I'm making more money.
Yeah.
And again, thinking off the side of this is the example that I've had the most, call it recently in the last 6 or 8 months, is Dash. Dash does extended bidding, but if I remember correctly, and if anybody out there, if I'm wrong, please correct me on this. I believe the extended bidding for that only hits if you are one of the people that bid on it in regular time. You cannot jump in on it if you did not put a bid on it in regular time.
That's interesting.
I think you have to bid in the last minute or have the high bid in the last minute to be in the extended bidding. I think they call it overtime.
Yeah, they call it
And
overtime.
that might be, I may have misread it, but I went through that with a few different auctions that I had done in the last year on
So
Dash.
I'll tell a great story of the last Blues Winter Classic. I'm a complete idiot, and like I'll say it. I don't care. It's funny. Thanks for the shrug there, Paul.
You're welcome.
But those were closing, like, obviously, like, some close earlier than others, and I was high bidder on one of the jerseys that was like one of the first ones to close, and I'm dumb and I forgot how the NHL auctions extended bidding goes. So I was high bidder. I was like literally about to close with like 2 seconds left. And I threw another bid on it because I was like, oh, somebody's gonna outbid me. And I reset the clock. And then at the end of that clock, somebody bid and it like flew up on me. And it happened to be the whole rest of the auction. And I ended up not winning any of the jerseys until the last one that closed. So I spent that like next 2 hours like trying to win one. And it was most awful experience I've ever had. Instead of getting one for extremely cheap early on, I ended up spending like considerably more money for like one that closed at the end, and I probably cost myself a couple $1,000s. But it's kind of a funny story, so that'll preface why I hate extended bidding.
Well, I would think that if you're bumping your own bid, that should not extend the clock.
But on NHL auctions, it certainly does.
Well, which is unfortunate. So,
It's
but
also
yeah,
on AHL auctions, it does the same thing. So both of those are I think what you think. I think if you're bumping your own bid, it shouldn't reset the clock. It should be an outside bid. But I don't, you're the computer guy, so I'm not sure how they have it set up. But
that would be
pretty
very
funny.
easy to set up.
I would have won 2 jerseys very early on in that auction, and I outbid myself and then cost myself both jerseys. So
Good job, Wade.
Here, our viewing audience deserves the truth.
Oh my. I'm sorry to hear that, Wade. And now I understand part of your dislike for extended bidding.
Yeah, no, I mean it's so many things though. I mean, over the years, I feel like it's a cash grab for both the auction house, and it does help the seller. And I'm not terribly upset about it. I guess if I were a seller, I would love extended bidding. But as a collector, I guess part of me likes to think that like if there's a close time, then you should close at that time.
Yeah, first I want to address Dash real quick and then get back to what you were saying there. Dash, then when it goes into overtime, I think it's 1 or 2 minutes. And it's just the people who had bid in the final minute. And then it has a hard close then in 2 minutes. So it's really kind of a weird.
I'm not sure that you're right there, because I do think that if you bid again in the Dash, it resets that 2 minute for the 2 bidders.
I thought it was Dash that stops it after 2. Do you recall, Doc? Or
after 2?
Yeah,
I've been looking it up because now I'm questioning both of that, because I thought it continued to run until the bidding stopped.
I thought it basically just extended it for 2 minutes and that's it. So then you're basically back into sniping at the end.
Yeah,
but 2 minutes after you already sniped once. Yeah,
I know they do a running clock, like NHL auctions, and AHL does a reset running clock.
Yeah, AHL definitely does. NHL does.
I've done that to myself on AHL too, where I've forgotten, because maybe it's like the first time I bid on with them in a while, and I'll do the same thing. And I've actually paid more money for things because I've outbid myself before.
Okay, here's at least what it says from their site and how overtime works. Overtime starts if a new bid is placed within the final 60 seconds of the standard auction clock. The participants included. It locks in the top active bidders who qualify for the overtime session, usually the last 2, but I guess in theory could be more if a bunch of people are throwing bids on it. Qualified bidders get an extra 2 minutes to place the additional bids and battle for the item. You can place as many bids as you want during this 2-minute window. When the clock hits 0, the highest bidder wins.
Oh, there you have it.
So it is only a 2-minute overtime.
So basically what you're doing in Dash, you're watching to see what the other person bids, and then you're putting in your bid with like 2 seconds left to making sure it's above his.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have reserve bidding. I think it's whatever you bid is your bid.
Yes, because I learned that the hard way one time.
So now I have a question for the two of you. And this is probably more for Wade, and disliking extended bidding. When that happens at like Classic or NHL or AHL, any of those, there's usually a bunch of similar jerseys closing at the same time. So Wade's use case there is just like, hey, my top 3 guys went away. I'm going to bid on number 4 or number 5 now.
Yeah.
Will that happen as much on eBay, since you tend to have
singular? Probably not on eBay as much, because you're going to have less likely to have multiple things, unless some guy lists 10 jerseys that are all closing at the same time or whatever. I still collect some trading cards occasionally. So I guess on eBay it probably would matter less, and it might help the sniping tools. But here, at the end of the day, if the argument is to take away sniping tools, I can assure you that somebody is going to adjust one of those sniping tools to be able to play that game. It won't take long for somebody to write a program for that.
But do you really need it then? If you have the 60 seconds to respond to bids, I mean, unless you want to be away
have the 60 seconds. If it keeps extending, then you could just write a program that if it resets and you're outbid, it would just send another bid in, right? You would keep matriculating to your max bid.
Well, but I'm sure you can just put, as far as I know on eBay, you can still put in your max bid, even in eBay Australia. And how I read what they're doing, and thank you for finding that, Doc. I didn't realize it went full in Australia on 817 with everything.
It's doing some digging, was just trying to understand exactly what kind of rules they're coming up with.
Somebody starts doing, if it extends every time, if it's just a single one, then somebody can only do one chop bid. But if it extends every time somebody bids, then what somebody can do is just keep taking little bids, resetting the clock, letting it run down, then bidding again, or getting it to the point where they figure out what your max is. Because at some point you're going to hit where it'll, if you match the high bid, you won't take over the bid, but it won't go up higher than what their max bid was versus your, like, what you put in. So if you play that well, if you're smart, you would play that, keep chopping at it. Once it hit, let's say the max bid, like the person's max bid was $50 and you kept doing 45, 47, or whatever. When you did 50, if you hit 50, it would stop at 50 and then you would just wait or put another bid right at the end of the 2 minutes and win it, right?
Well, but then it would extend again. Well,
yeah, but if the other person isn't watching or whatever, they're not playing the game, you could still use that as a snipe scenario.
So why do it that way when, let me give you my scenario on it. Item's at $200.
Yeah.
You're winning it. Your max bid is 500.
Yeah.
Someone else wants to bid on it, in the extended bidding. Why not bid 700?
Yeah.
And then you'd be the high bid at 505. Why chop away?
You might get stuck paying 700 for something you want to pay 500 for.
Well, you only if
in theory
it's based on the second highest bid,
or
the highest bid from someone else, not your.
Yeah.
Because I believe now you can still bump in eBay and it doesn't raise it. Well, it does not raise it. So there's no reason to chop away unless you want to extend the time.
Yeah.
Like
with the extension, it might take that away. But I mean, in the regular way, that's the best way to figure out if you can, what somebody's max bid is, right?
Yes. Yeah. But with the max bid, and only bidding a little bit above, what do they call it? Not a reserve bid. I forget what the eBay terminology is. You don't have to risk going to 700 unless someone else bids 700.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Or 695 probably. I'm assuming it's $5.
It'll be interesting to see what it does. I hope they don't put it on the U.S. site.
I'll say this: I do all my sniping manually. I can't recall a time I've lost sniping when I wanted something, and I'd actually look forward to it going to extended bidding, even as a buyer.
I mean, I do it all I do it all. I don't use a tool either. Yeah. I just do it. I do it all myself because I want to be able to track where I am and then, try to make a good decision at the end if there's a good decision to be made or a bad decision if I decide to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Both happen.
Then the auction closes and you figure out if you made a bad decision or not.
Sometimes it can go either way.
Right.
So
we'll interesting to see if eBay rolls that out worldwide.
Yeah, it all depends how it goes in Australia, as a start, and I'm sure they'll be tweaking it. It always surprised me that they didn't have some sort of extended bidding, and sniping became so popular, and we always get it. We see it in the Facebook group every couple of weeks. I was winning this jersey the whole time, and then I got sniped at the end. But yeah, that's what happens on eBay. A lot of us will not. A, will bid early so we get a reminder, or B, we won't even bid until the final, 3-4 seconds at most. But it's going to be interesting to see, worthwhile keeping an eye on.
Yes. 100%. Just a couple other things here. The remix jerseys, again, have been teased with a little bit more information of coming during the early regular season, and teams are going to kind of do it. And that's really the extent that we know. And there's, to my knowledge, and I did doing some digging around, there's not really been much other leaks. And if there has, please shoot them along to us. I've not seen them.
I haven't seen any other leaks. Yeah.
I have not looked. nor have I seen them.
I don't know if the teams have really clamped down on that, and the NHL's clamped down on that more or what, but
Somebody will make a mistake as it gets closer. What's
yeah.
going to happen is teams on their merchandise page, somebody's gonna shit the bed, and
Well,
post it.
What popped into my head is one place might get leaked out is the new NHL game for this year.
Yeah,
that's where a lot of times that stuff gets leaked from.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that'll be interesting as well. But I mean,
I'm excited to see it, but it's like, let's get it here.
I want to see what they look like. I mean, the good news is, like we said, we're only 33 days away from hockey, so the season starts, and hopefully some of these teams start dropping this stuff for us.
So you mentioned the NHL game. It would be very simple not to include those jerseys and then just drop them when they're officially released.
Yeah, you get a free update when you get them, but I've seen those games do that where oops, they were already unlocked, or somebody figured out how to unlock them in the game or whatnot, and it's not as risky now because 99% of the games are downloadable over buying the discs, but I'm betting they still get leaked in something like that or some other kind of weird way, not the normal way we would expect.
Yeah, maybe someone watching the show can leak them to us. Yeah, we'll appreciate that.
Again, we will protect your identity, but we will share the hell out of the jerseys.
Nice.
Just a couple other things is, I guess actually we've pretty much touched on everything you had one other update, Paul, before we get out of here.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, so I have to do a FIFA update.
Wait, you mean people still play soccer after the World Cup's over?
Yes. And matter of fact, we're recording this on Thursday, August 27th. Tomorrow morning, the German First Division starts. And now every top division in Europe should be in regular league play starting tomorrow or today, whenever you're listening to this, or yesterday, who knows. But the point is, we've been watching, a lot of, the English Premier League, Championship, which is the second division, or however you want to do it. We watched the German Super Cup, which was Bayern and Dortmund. Yeah, Dortmund. And one thing I've noticed with all these games, they're so much more enjoyable than the World Cup. Why? There's none of those damn hydration breaks. So you're actually playing 45 minutes straight instead of playing 20 something minutes, having a break, coming back. Extra time is usually just a couple of minutes, as it used to always be, not 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, going on forever. And the biggest factor, VAR. The video reviews are done quickly, and you don't have to have the referees not waiting, running to a little box to look at something where they basically tell them it was offsides, and they call it offsides, and it's done. It's I have not seen a long delay yet in any of the games I've watched due to VAR, and it is just wonderful. I got used to it during the World Cup because, let's be honest, that was the only soccer on then. Everyone else was on break, even MLS, and it's just so nice not having VAR and not having the hydration break. So I really hope none of these countries go to that model, because it sucked a lot of the fun out of the World Cup, which, I mean, it was still a great tournament and all that, but man, having real soccer back is great. I'll get even more tangential. College football starts this weekend. We're actually heading out to see Stanford versus Hawaii. Both teams are going to be highly mediocre, but Stanford Stadium's just a great place to see a game. It's a 4 p.m. start on Saturday, so we'll probably be stupid hot at the beginning and cold when the game ends. But
funny how that seems to happen.
Yeah, looking forward to it and figuring out if we're going to hit a Michigan game or not this year, either back in Ann Arbor or up in Oregon. Just the travel schedule. But yeah, it's other sports. It's an exciting time of year for me because we have training camp starting soon. We'll have all the rookie tournaments, which hopefully a lot of them will be broadcast, and at least at that we'll get to see some of the new home and away styles, because a lot of times they'll wear that. I know the Sharks wear the regular jerseys for that. We won't see the thirds or the remixes. But it's a great time of year, and looking forward to it. And more soccer, but
it's sports all the way around, and it's crazy. Before the show started, I had the NFL preseason on in the background, and as I was telling both Paul and Wade, I could care less about football and all that. The only reason I was even watching it is one of my coworkers' nephews who lives in this area also is trying to make the Patriots, and actually ended up having a really good night. So that's helpful for him.
that's wonderful.
8 for 8 with 71 yards as a wide receiver. So he was the only one. No other wide receiver was anywhere close to that number. So my coworker sent me a message just a bit ago, said Al Michaels apologized to Kyle Dixon's family because they hadn't said anything about him. And then they said he was 8 for 8 with 76 yards. Like, well, if Al Michaels is realizing he didn't say anything about him, that's a problem. But so just kind of cool to watch that stuff or have connections to other sports you don't normally pay attention to. With that, we'll do kind of a round robin and wrap things up and get the hell out of here. We'll say one of the nights people are kind of going to be surprised when they watch the show going, wait, where's the guest? It's been such a long time we haven't had one. Wade, what do you got first?
Man, I'm all good here. I think we had a fun discussion. As much as I love having our guests, I always enjoy when it's just us to do our kind of a little bit. I always think we're a little looser and a little bit, it's fun. So I had fun chatting with you guys as I always do. I'm excited that we're getting so close to hockey season, and I am excited that football season is starting, both college and professionally. And it's the fun time in sports is starting back up. So fortunate for that.
Paul.
Yeah, no, it's a fun show. It's good. It's nice to have one again with just the three of us, and discuss it. No offense to any of our guests. Love having one on here. But this is always fun, and it's good to do a show like this occasionally. I don't have too much more to add. I am thankful that Wade has now gotten into watching Ted Lasso. So we were talking about that beforehand. So Monica basically keeps watching every episode of Ted Lasso. I don't know how many times she sees it. Yeah. But if we don't have a sporting event on and the TV and one of the 3 TVs, Ted Lasso's playing. And she's still on every viewing, she finds something new. So it's such a great show.
I started binging it. Was it last Sunday and I got through like the whole first season on a Sunday off, and then now I'm in the middle of season 3. It's fun. I shouldn't have waited this long because I knew I would like it. But it's enjoyable. It's been fun to watch. And I'm glad I did it. I'm also in the middle of the new season of Reacher as well. I am a giant TV dork. I'm just a dork, but beyond that, life is good. And that's it.
I'm glad we addicted you to Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And I will say you haven't season 4 drops Tuesday nights, new episodes.
Yeah.
And so far I think it's been fabulous. And it's about women's soccer this time. And
Jason Sudeikis is so much fun. He's such a fun actor, and the whole the cast is just, what a great show. It really is. So I'm excited to get to season 4 probably next weekend. And I'm excited. You mentioned college football. College football for me opened tonight. I was actually watching in the background because my alma mater, Lindenwood, usually opens a season with a Thursday night game, which we did tonight, and we won. So that was Go Lions.
Congrats. That's very cool.
It's always fun. It's always fun to catch that Thursday night game. It's such a neat tradition that the school has. So I got to enjoy that. So at the beginning of the show, I was watching the end of the game. So.
And to stay in the what you're watching stuff, which is always fun too. We'll share some rando things. People may not always like it, but too bad. I'm doing One Show's old school. One of the free apps you can download for your smart TV is Tubi. Yeah. They're the only place now that has all 8 seasons of Tales from the Crypt. The series that used to run on HBO. I'm a very big horror fan. Used to watch that every week when that came out on HBO, and they have all 8 seasons out there now. I think I'm in season 3, so it's enjoyable seeing what actors were just kind of getting started out and were in that, and now how big they've blown up. And then I've also been watching, I'm a big Star Trek person, watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Matter of fact, it always drops on Thursday nights, so I usually catch up on it and watch it over the weekend. So I have one really old show I watch and one brand new one I watch.
I was a really big horror fan in my 20s too. So,
I need to thank you for that, because I'm a huge EC Comics fan. I mean, some of the stuff behind me are the reprints, down at the bottom. And I know Tales from the Crypt has been taken off a lot of the services. I had no idea Tubi had it. So
yeah, Tubi, and Tubi is, anybody that does know, is a totally free app. They do have commercials in it. The commercials don't usually run in the Tales from the Crypt show because it's only 30 minutes, but you'll get an ad before, whatever. So what? But it's there's some such great episodes of that. And speaking of, so we had multiple very unfortunate passings away this week with Dolly Parton, Tim Curry, and I forgot his name, but the voice of Optimus Prime all passed away in the last 48 hours. But if you go to Tubi, I think it's in season either 3 or 4, but there's an episode of Tales from the Crypt where Tim Curry plays 4 of the 5 characters.
Really?
The episode, and it is phenomenal. He
Peter
was
Cullen, by the way.
Well, I'm sorry.
Peter Cullen was.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. The voice of Optimus Prime. But yeah, Tim Curry does. I think it's 4 of the 5 or 3 of the 4 characters in the one episode, and he is phenomenal. So if you like horror stuff, go check that out.
Tim Curry is it. Still possibly. Took away a lot of night's sleep for a young Wade.
and you know what? I was talking to somebody about that today too, is because I read the book right after that movie came out. I was in junior high when that movie came out.
Yeah.
That movie, for anybody that doesn't know, because a lot of people watch it now on whatever streaming service, that was on broadcast TV when that was released. I think it was ABC that had that, if I remember correctly, but it was a 2-night thing. And I was really surprised. And again, they toned it down compared to the book, but I was really surprised that was done as a network TV thing and not HBO, not somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it stands up, and again, not bashing the new one that came out a few years ago, but that was done so well. And Tim Curry's character as Pennywise, how he did that is amazing.
It terrorized a generation of children.
Oh, very much so. But such a good show that still stands up to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. So sad to hear those.
Yes, passings. I mean, as people get older, actors get older, singers get older, and people that we grew up with, it's always sad to see that. Hockey players the same way. But but with that, again, the listens continue to explode, the messages. I know everybody's really enjoying the Instagram clips, so it means a lot. You're go follow those. You can find Dirty Laundry Hockey. Go search Instagram. We've got all the ones they're running through Friday of Mike Commodore. Some great clips. Check those out. Go look at some of the past ones. I'm gonna try and clip as we have some other stuff through here. Clip some past shows we've done because we have 159 now. But thank you for continuing to stick with us. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends, do all that stuff. If you have guests, you can hook us up with somebody. Please reach out and do that. If you want to come on, if you have topic suggestions, all of those things, we love the assistance, or we love the ideas, because guess what? We can't think of everything. And as the hockey season gets closer, we're going to get busier with looking at show stuff and what teams are doing and the remix jerseys and all of that stuff. But we are going to continue to bring more cool guests and all that in. So thank you very much. And we will see you guys all back next week.